Probably Newsies, but also Aladdin. Those would go hand in hand.
Anything Disney.
Little Mermaid.
Three Ninjas or a Goofy movie.
Yeah, my mom said it was shit.
It was either Lion King or Toy Story. Those were the two that I could pretty much put on anytime, anywhere, and be good to go. So
the one that comes to mind off the top of my head is Aladdin. I grew up on a lot of Disney movies.
There was a Davy Crockett movie that I remember renting from the library over and over again. I don't know why that one was interesting to me, and it was made probably in like the 60s or 70s. So it was a super old VHS, but I remember like every other time we went to the library, I would rent that and watch it. So.
Shoots. I mean, I watched a lot of Disney. There's one, I think I watched Beauty and the Beast a lot when I was younger.
The Lion King, and I'm pretty sure it's because it was the first movie I owned. I got it on VHS for one of my birthdays.
But there was a horse movie back in the day called Spirit. That was really good.
I like Disney movies, so I'll go with Beauty and the Beast.
I was told that I watched Wizard of Oz like nonstop all the time. I don't remember that, but
probably the Hound and the Fox, that Disney movie.
Brad. It's about BMX bike racers. It's kind of fun. I like to watch that movie. Either Brad or Karate Kid. I watch Karate Kid a lot too.
Oh, the Rugrats movie? The one where they get like lost in the wild. I would cry when they would get lost. My mom would have to hide the movie from me so I would not watch it.
I think Aristocats. I still sing the song randomly every now and again.
Probably Robin Hood.
Aladdin. Anything by Disney.
The real answer is SportsCenter with Scott Van Pelt and Stuart Scott in the morning. We had a tiny little TV that was in the corner of our kitchen, and I would get up before everybody else, and I would pour myself a bowl of Honey Nut Cheerios, and I would stand in the corner like this close and just watch, and I just listen to Stuart Scott. He's the man. So.
Tom and Jerry. Loved watching that with my dad. That's like one of my favorite childhood memories is watching Tom and Jerry with my dad, and we would be eating lunch together.
The Jetsons, for sure.
I mean, if you weren't watching Rugrats in the 90s, you weren't one of the cool kids.
I love the TGIF lineup with Family Matters and Boy Meets World. If I'm not mistaken, Step by Step may have been TGIF a show. But yeah, Friday nights were pretty legit watching all those shows.
From what I've heard is it was Teletubbies.
I liked, like I said, Spider-Man, Saturday morning cartoons. That was always a go-to.
Strawberry Shortcake, and that was in a tie with My Little Ponies.
Rugrats.
Probably Tom and Jerry.
Me and my family watched a lot of Three's Company, which I know is not traditional for our age group. But yeah, we were raised on Three's Company.
Arthur.
Probably either Arthur or Barney.
Really, my favorite was probably Clarissa Explains It All.
I watched Avatar: The Last Airbender a lot.
Probably Teletubbies.
Rugrats. We didn't have cable growing up, so it was like Garfield or the Muppets.
The Thornberries, I really like them. They were cool.
Dragon Tales.
The Simpsons.
Can't do that on television. I really liked MASH growing up.
A show off. I needed to be the center of attention. I was a pretty smart kid. I love to sing and to perform, but I really love to play sports, like any sports, outside, inside. And I had to be the best at it, but I was a pretty patient older brother.
So I was a compulsive liar. Got out of that real fast though.
Really independent and didn't want to take instructions from anybody. I almost failed kindergarten actually because I couldn't follow directions.
I was very organized, as I am still now, but I was very organized, whether it was organizing my stuffed animals, whether it was writing things down. I just remember being very organized.
As a kid, they said I was really talkative and like outgoing, but I also wasn't like, I would show like no emotion either. Like I wouldn't give any of my family members hugs or anything like that.
Similar to today, pretty quiet and reserved. Always into sports, always wanting to play sports, always watching sports, doing something with that. Other than that, fairly quiet, stayed out of trouble. My brother was the troublemaker. I was able to stay mostly out of trouble. So
I was social. I think I always tried to be the class clown. Like I always had something funny to say. I never really got in trouble at home except for picking on my little brother.
I was super awkward because I was homeschooled, so the whole like hand-eye coordination thing was off. Super introverted, just awkward. I mean, I was always outside. Living in Florida, I never wore shoes, and when I did, it was sandals, and
I was very energetic, loud and talkative, which I'm still a decent amount of those things. But my mom said I was just very independent and walk and do whatever I want.
I would say that I was hyper and energetic and bossy.
Very active, very outdoorsy.
I was very inquisitive. I've always loved learning, and so some of my earliest elementary school memories, I remember just asking questions a lot. Not necessarily because I didn't understand an assignment, but really just because I really wanted to know more and to learn more. And then I've always been very introverted. So I'm on the kind of opposite end as far as friends. I've always been pretty quiet and introverted.
It depends on the age. I was definitely a weird child, but I'm okay with weird. So, but I think I was also just all over the place. I feel like I was a lot of energetic for sure.
Quiet. I was always if I was in a room, you'll see me, but you wouldn't hear me, so you probably wouldn't know if I was in the room or not. Kind of just thinking to myself, that's really weird. I was always getting into something though. I fell off the swings. I got stitches in my finger because I fell. I was always getting into something, but I was just quiet about doing it.
I was a little trouble. Not gonna lie. I was wild.
Just into everything. My parents were really big on just kind of doing whatever. So we did a lot of different things. Of course, I played all the sports, but I mean, we did everything. We camped out a lot. We were always outside. Always something different going on. But yeah, a lot of sports. So played everything. Just changed sport with the season and did that. And then we traveled a lot. And just did a lot of different things.
I was just I was one of those kids that was quiet and just was not in adult business, but we were just like always around adults because I'm an only child and grandchild, so it was always just kind of me, and my family's full of girls and we're all super close, and so like we're just always together, like it was just always us. So I think I was just really chill. My family said I was a really good kid. So
I was pretty talkative. I remember like all the report cards I used to get, I would get like an N in like talking too much. So there's that.
Talkative, I wouldn't shut up.
Pretty much the same as I am today. Just quiet. I want to be left alone with my books. I played sports and kind of a peacemaker.
I was a little nerd, which is so weird because I'm still a nerd as an adult.
All of my friends called me Heaves. My last name is Heebner.
My soccer teams, they would call me Mad Dog. Didn't really like that. I was like, oh, what? But my mom always calls me Magda.
It was either Ulrich or because of my hair, which you can't really tell now, but it just kind of grows out and out and out and out like this. So my friends would call me Poof.
I mean, I don't think the whole world knows my nickname.
So my whole family would call me Griffin Cookie.
My brother called me Pee-wee all the time. I don't know why. I don't know where it came from, but that's what stuck, and he still does today, so that's fun.
Finny was my nickname.
They used to call me Bobby.
Not really. My dad would call me Esteban because it's Steven in Spanish. but he was the only one that called me that.
My grandpa would call me Shelly, and my sister's name was Denise, so it'd be like Shelly and Nisi.
In high school, I had a nickname that was just my last name, Barney, and so that was the only one, and it stuck with me through college.
There's one gym they called me Chuck, and I don't remember really why. And then my second gym they called me Tiny or Tiny Tot because I was real small. And then my like basketball teams, you know, all that basketball playing. They called me K-Dog, and my sisters still call me that, which is funny. So.
I've always gone by Allison, but my granddad did call me Alley Cat.
Now, some people called me by my last name, Jensen. But usually people just call me Emily.
It was KK.
People call me Nisi. Niece.
Oh, my family to this day still calls me Nana.
My parents, actually, most of my family called me Reese and Reese, and those have stuck around. And then one of my cousins used to call me Reese's Pieces, but she doesn't call me that anymore, which is totally fine with me.
There were multiple Paul Smiths in my family, and my middle name is also a family name, so that kind of made things a little bit confusing. So they eventually just, all of us who were, somewhere in that combination would go by initials, so I was PT.
I had a couple. My uncles still to this day called me Smurf. I have also been called Valerie because my little brother, when he was little, could not pronounce B in my name. So I still get called that a lot as well. And then I have an aunt that calls me Muffy.
When I got to grad school, my soccer team started calling me Ringer, and that one kind of stuck. I still am called Ringer a lot.